Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today it's not questions that came in, but some really good comments, and they're really in your own words from two Sergeites, and it's about club fitting. And I got two of them here, and I want to read them both because again, they bring up some similar comments, and they bring up some different points of view that's really important. And as you all know, I am really big on club fitting, and because clubs are tools, and you got two tools that are involved in a golf swing. You got the tool of your body, which has its designs, it's created by God, how it functions, and then we have the tool of the club. So naturally, this tool needs to fit this tool, okay? And when they do, you'll be in a lot better shape. And fitting is an art, and just like the peak performance swing is founded 100% on science, physics, and human physiology and anatomy, so do our peak performance swing surgeon certified fitters deal in science, and they deal with fitting this tool with this tool, okay? And so if you really truly want to get better, you need to really get your clubs fixed. And if you have any club in your bag, and I get this all the time, well, Serge, I hit all my clubs good except this one. What am I doing wrong? If you hit most of your clubs pretty good, any one or two or three that isn't working good, just remember this statement. It very likely isn't the Indian, it's the arrow. If all the other arrows are working pretty good and you got a problem with especially one or two or even a few, look at the arrow. Because, I mean, how can you automatically be good with some and bad with another one? It's got to be the arrow, not you. All right, at least start with that and go see a fitter. So this first one came in to us from Ron Tripodi, and he says, and he actually wrote this, and he says, I assume you want to hear from those who purchase clubs, and I just want to say, I just love my clubs. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play the rest of the year after purchasing the clubs in August of 2013, and after receiving them a few weeks later. All kind of personal stuff was happening, blah, 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 blah. He says, anyways, I joined the senior league, and I have never played any better. I hit it for the first time in my life, a drive straight down the middle for 260 yards without the benefit of a downhill. It was beautiful, and of course, it felt great. On a good portion of the par fives, I was on the green in 3, so I had a chance to par every one of them. It didn't happen, but I did bogey them. I was so darn excited about being on the green in 3 that I couldn't calm down enough to concentrate on my putting. Because of you and Don, my back did not bother me one bit the entire day or the next day when I usually pay for playing. My golf life is truly a do-over. Thanks so much for coming to Southern California last year. I still want one of your golf hats, so don't forget me if and when you decide to sell them. I'll advertise for you as we play a different course every week. Your friend forever, Ron Tripodi. And this was sent in to me talking about a fitting that he had with Doc Griffin, who went out to Southern California once last year. Now I have another one that came in, and this one is from Bill Baker, and it says, feedback referencing club fitter Bill Marshall. Bill Marshall is down in Lakeland, Florida, all right? And many who came to golf schools in Florida, especially when we used to do them in Orlando, got to meet Bill because most of the time we had him come up and check out clubs if people were interested in that. And he says, Bill Baker says, when you referred me to Bill Marshall in Lakeland, Florida for an evaluation and possible replacement of my clubs, you asked for feedback about my experience in dealing with him. I am not sure I can come up with enough complimentary words to do him justice, but I will try. How sweet that is, all right? And I've read some of these before, and you know, our fitters are of another league. They are in another league. First off, they sign a pledge that they're going to fit clubs the peak performance way, which is you go to most box stores, or you go to most demo days, and they fit you a little bit. They do it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 at the most. You're going to read in most of these things. Our guys spend a minimum of 2 hours, all right? 2 hours. You can't get a really good club fitting in 10 or 15 minutes. All you get, that's nothing. That's like a doctor just taking your pulse and your blood pressure and saying, you're fit, go ahead, take off. All right? You're great. Don't worry about a thing. All right? No way. All right? I expected to be told that I should replace everything with a new set of custom-made clubs. After some observation, my swing and electronic measurements of the results of my hitting balls with several clubs, he gave me his assessment. Bill told me that some changes were needed, but he couldn't modify my existing gloves. Our guys, they're not crooks. They're not going to sell it. They're going to give you what you need. If you have good heads and the heads fit with the type of game you got, they're not going to try to sell you another set of clubs. They're going to tell you, but if your shafts are wrong, the wrong length or whatever, the clubs are the wrong line, they're going to retrofit them. All right? And if I've seen guys go in there and the only thing that was wrong, everything was pretty good on the clubs. The only thing that was wrong was the lies, and they just adjusted the lies for them for the fee, the cost of the lies of that, plus the cost of the fitting. But these guys aren't going to rip you off, because that's part of the code of ethics that they signed to it. He said, Bill told me that some changes were needed, but he could modify my existing clubs and save me a lot of money. He replaced the shafts on my irons, which had been custom fitted by a big name manufacturer, so evidently they weren't correct, with lighter weight shafts, and then put compatible shafts in my hybrids, wedges, and fairway woods. He checked the lie angle and modified clubs where required. He shortened my driver by 1 inch and realigned the head with the shaft. Brand name driver was off quite a bit. I hit the balls on the range and played a few games with my new clubs, and I am delighted. I especially like the feel over the range of the clubs and hope it will lead to more consistency in my swing. My partner came along to observe the process and was so impressed with Bill's competency and professionalism, she decided to have her clubs evaluated too. Bill quickly spotted that her irons were much too heavy and installed new shafts. She tried them on the course and hit irons better than she had ever been able to do. Bill also shortened and realigned her driver and put compatible shafts in the remainder of her clubs and re-gripped them all. I have no hesitation recommending Bill Marshall to any Surgites. He has a well-equipped shop, knows his stuff, really cares about his clients, and is a great guy with whom it is a pleasure to do business. Now to continue to working on mastering the PPGS swing. Bill Baker. 2 great letters. They come in like that all the time. If you really want to play better golf and you feel that you're doing a lot of progress and making much better peak performance golf swings, but you're just not getting where you want to go, start looking at your golf clubs. This tool swings this tool, and this tool, the club, needs to swing this tool, the body swinging the club. And just because you pay beaucoup money and buy these top brand names and even maybe got fitted, in the end, if you got fitted by a local club pro or at a store or whatever, and they send the order in to be filled, supposedly you think they're being custom made to you, they're just going to pull them off the shelf. That's it. You come back, you get a set of golf clubs that were already made. They just tried to find something that supposedly is going to fit what was written that you should have. But I'll tell you what, if any of you have done that, go take it to a club fitter and have, especially a swing surgeon club fitter, and have them check all those clubs and see if they are what they were supposed to be. I guarantee you, you're going to very likely, the lies and the lofts won't be correct unless they're casted clubs. But if they're forged, any types of forge, and they're supposed to be adjusted, I guarantee they're not correct. All right? So the key is that I make this statement, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it 1,000 more times as long as I can stand up and say it, or even sit down and say it. If you get a club fitting, and the person who fitted you did not build your clubs, you just got shafted. All right? Let me say that again. If you get a club fitting, and the person who fitted your clubs, your club fitter, did not build them, you got shafted. And occasionally you hear them say that the fitter, and again, I could add to that, if you got fitted and you paid for your clubs before they were built, and naturally the order was sent off, you got shafted. All our fitters do not accept payment until you come back and hit the clubs they built and you like them. And if they're not correct, they're going to get them correct until you like them, and then you pay. That is the true essence of a fitting, and that's the way swing surgeon certified fitters fit. That's a true fitting. In the air, the only thing they got, in many cases, when you go to a swing surgeon certified fitter, the only way you got shafted was new shafts in your clubs that are correct, and you will hit better shots so you can play better golf and shoot those lower scores. So I can't say enough about the swing surgeon peak performance fitters. They are a class and a breed by themselves. They sign our code of ethics. They all live by it, and all these letters that come and say it, and I'm going to keep putting them out here, because in the end I can give you the best swing in the world, but if your clubs don't fit you, it's like playing golf with one or maybe even both the hands tied behind your back. So ultimately, the peak performance swing is great, but it's even greater when your clubs are fitted for you by a swing surgeon fitter. All right, that's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.